Welcome back, guys. Well, today we're just back at the cabin and we've had a little bit of a second wave of winter this week. We had a bit of an ice storm, so we're up here assessing the damage and let's see what else we can get up to. Stay tuned. Well, we had 3 days of solid freezing rain and snow up here, and let me tell you, things are melting out a bit, but it was a bit of a mess. So just at the cabin, taking a look at what happened. Thank goodness the cabin's still standing. It's always a risk, you know, with a cabin in the woods is having, you know, a tree fall on top of it or something like that. Got in late last night. It was nice. It's not too cold anymore. I think it went down to -3 last night. Today it's supposed to get up to like +6 or something. In the sun, I think it's already +10, which is awesome. It's really nice. Little birds beside me there feeding at the feeder. Nice to hear all the spring birds back and the little squirrels chittering. This morning actually I snuck up on a ruffed grouse doing its drumming, trying to find a mate, so that was really neat. So I'm just making some breakfast now and then we'll get ready and I'll show you what we're gonna get up to. Before I head out and assess the damage from the ice storm here at the cabin, I want to give you an update on the Browning Command Ops 14 megapixel camera. I'm a little bit disappointed. I don't know what's going on, but I went to grab the camera. I was really excited because this is the time of year where moose like to walk in front of the cabin. And I headed out to check them and check my cameras and opened this one up. And the little screen wasn't working, so it wasn't showing, you know, that it was recording. And I thought, oh boy, this is not a good sign. So what I did is I brought it back into the cabin and I took out the card and popped it in my card reader, and I only had 3 very short videos. So I couldn't figure out what's going on. I still couldn't get the camera to turn on. So I opened up the battery pack and I checked all the batteries, and it looked like 3 out of the 8 batteries were completely dead. And then a few others were down to 1.2 volts and a few were at, you know, 1.5. So the camera only recorded over a period of about a week from being put up before it died. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, obviously. So basically I'm going to take it home and, I don't know, just look up online to see if there's similar issues with this. But I don't know, I'm not too impressed. Remember I told you guys when I, you know, started recording that one video with it, with recording one video of myself walking in front of it, it drained the battery down to 80% on a brand new battery, brand new bunch of batteries, so I'll keep you posted. I'm just gonna walk the trail here towards the shed, and I can already see something that's down here. Yeah, take a look at this. Well, this guy was pretty dead and it had to come down. It's all messed up and fallen down over here. We'll have some cleanup work to do here. There's a lot of young healthy ironwoods sort of around the cabin here, so nothing, thank goodness, fell on the cabin. But I definitely want to go through this spring and take a look at anything that looks suspicious and take it down before it causes a problem. It's further down the trail here, and yeah, look at this. I tried to take a peek at this last night in the pitch dark, but looks like a huge spruce came down. Look at that, snapped right off at the base. We're gonna have to cut off some of the limbs and get some good firewood, I'm guessing. This one looks pretty healthy actually. If you look, the top's all nice and green and everything, so maybe just a strong gust of wind, or maybe part of the tree was rotten and just kind of went over. That's our work for this morning. Just walking through the field and it's pretty wet. This is the swampy area where the field is, where I've planted the high bush cranberry. High bush cranberries are over this way. This is the time last year I was actually getting out and ready and planting some trees. I have pictures last year and video of this field all melted out this time of year, so the ground's still a bit frozen. They've delayed our tree pickup time actually till maybe the last week of April, first 2 weeks of May. So I've got my order placed and I'll be ready to do some spring planting really soon. Just going to take a hike through the woods here and see if we can find that drumming grouse that I heard first thing this morning. There's a few other trees down here in the woods, but that's okay. As you can see, I mean, down trees are useful for lots of different critters, including the grouse that uses these large logs to drum on to attract a mate. Other critters looking for a mate right now are the turkeys. It's our turkey season here coming up next week. And sort of the males are running around and the females and their little harems there. There's a bunch actually by the road as we're kind of driving in. Here's where the grouse is drumming. 2 seconds ago. It's waddled off the other way there. And a few tree tops are down as well. Well, it'll all make some good firewood for us once we get it all cleaned up. There's our grouse just behind the tree there. The grouse around here are used to being hunted, so they're pretty elusive. I know in other spots they tend to, be a little slow and just sort of sit there and stare, but these guys, as soon as they know you're coming, they're like off like a shot. So I've just been following this guy around this morning, trying to get him to drum for me, but he's always on to me. And there's that winning display. Beautiful, actually. I love the sound of grouse drumming in the spring. And, quite often they'll, bat their wings like that several times, and sometimes they'll strut around in an effort to attract a female. Sometimes you'll see the females coming up and checking them out. A few years ago, we had a family of grouse. They were pretty cute. The little ones looked almost like little itty bitty sparrows buzzing around through the woods. They weren't too bright, and they were whacking into trees and stuff like that. But they were pretty entertaining to watch, so hopefully this one finds a mate. Well, with the sound of the axe in the background, I guess that's my cue to get over there and help out, fixing up some of that damage. All right, so working on delimbing here so we can get in with a chainsaw and cut up this log. It's quite a nice straight piece of wood, actually. It's going to make some good firewood. And here we've got the limbs, so I'm going to pack those off and clear the way. Alright, so we're through in there, and yeah, it's nice looking wood. So I'm just going to buck it up now into smaller pieces. Well, let's take a look here at the stump and see if there's any reason why the tree would have fallen down, other than just the really bad wind and the heavy ice. Now that I look at it a little bit more, it does look pretty rotten on the one side. See, these areas right here are very brittle, and just kind of peeling apart from each other in here. And all in here too, this side looks pretty rotten compared to that side. So I think the tree suffered a critical failure here in the storm. It was pretty weak on the one side and just kind of tippled over. At first I thought it was pretty healthy, but guess I was wrong. Take a look at this stick right here. You can see this branch coming in from the outside. Actually, this is what it looks like on the inside. It kind of came in here and obviously started when the tree was pretty young, I'm guessing, because look at that. This is where it was attached inside. Goes all the way through here and out on this side. Isn't that kind of cool? Well, it sure is getting warm out here now that we've been working on this bit of firewood here. So I thought, since we have a little bit of snow left, as you can see behind me, I'm going to get the snowmobile and basically going to put the little Pelican sled on the back, and we'll haul the firewood over to where the fire pit is. So figured, why not? Easier to do it that way. So just going to load it up now and head on over. Well, that's not good. Look here, this basically just snapped right out. Too heavy a load, I guess. I'll just have to adjust that. Look at that sun. It's just as warm as it looks. Well, I just hauled in the second last load of wood there. Man, 10 degrees outside sure feels like 30 when you're working. So anyways, just gonna have to finish up that last load here, and then we'll go in and have some lunch. Just need a little bit of a break. Also, we just finished up hauling in a bunch of gravel for the propane setup, so I'll have to show you guys that a little later. Alright, just gonna put together a couple of sandwiches here. Just want to show you guys this really cool thing that I bought. It basically stores some veggies and even some fruit as well, and keeps the humidity in. So I just got this at it's at the grocery store. They had a little section for food storage, and so you can see there's two different sides here. So this one's got, but you can take the lid off and it's one. You can adjust the humidity between the different sides by adjusting this little knob here. So here you can see the vent holes there. So I've got some cucumber and some lettuce on this side, and I've got some celery on this side, and there's a divider. This divider actually comes out and you can make 2 layers if you want, like if you're doing berries or something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. It fits nicely in the cooler, so kind of can prep the veggies if you're just up for a weekend or whatever, and go from there. Alright, so I'm going to put my little sandwich in here and put a couple of celery sticks. And just a handful of veggie chips. Alright, there's my lunch. Looks pretty good. Well, what a difference a few hours makes. You can see that the snow is really melting out nicely. So yeah, that's what this kind of sun does this time of year. That's awesome. Really quickly melted out that ice and snow. Now we just got mud and the muck everywhere. Can't wait to get those trees out here and get them planted. But looks like I said, I'll probably be picking them up at the end of the month or the beginning of May, and then heading back out here. I've got some cedar, I've got some willow I'm putting in, so lots of interesting stuff this year, a little different. Here you can see the little jack pines from last year. They were all flagged off in here. So they had a good bit of growth. I'm happy with that. So I'm pretty excited. I think they'll do well this year as well. I was happy last year that we had as much water as we did, so they had a really good start. Here's the crushed gravel that we're going to be using to make the pad for the propane tanks. Kind of got to pick out a good spot in and around here. I don't know. It certainly has to be away from any ignition sources or open windows and stuff like that. So we'll make a nice pad. I'll show that to you guys in a later video. Here's a couple 24 by 24 inch patio stones that the propane tanks are going to rest on. So just got to carry them over there now, and then I'll show you in a little later video how we set up for the propane tanks. The next tree I'm worried about falling is this dead pine right here. You can see this doesn't look too good, so that one's going to have to come down as well before it falls down. I don't like that one. That's right over where we could be working or riding around, so I gotta get rid of that one. Well, this is another bit of work done, and it was rotten. So you can see piled up over here all that punky wood from the pine. This isn't good firewood, it's just stuff to rot basically. Some sticks over here as well. It just stood alongside this healthy pine right here. I think it had grown too close, and then this one just obviously took all the nutrients. It's best that came down. I really didn't want to have to be walking along here and that thing fall on me. And when it came down and just smashed into a million segments. So I could just imagine, if the top popped off or something like that. So really important as well, and part of damage control around your cabin is to actually, survey the area, see if there are any dead trees, anything that looks a little bit sketchy, and take it down before it becomes a problem. Here's another standing dead spruce right there. That one's going to have to go, and another one right there. So it's another bit of work for another day. Thanks guys for joining us on today's adventure, damage control at the cabin. Well, thankfully after that ice storm, nothing too serious happened with the cabin, but it was nice to get some firewood and to survey some other trees and take a look at them and get rid of some hazards around the cabin. Now's the time of year to do that before things leaf out. So I'm gonna take a look around and tag some other trees that we need to deal with before they bud out, which will be pretty soon. I hope you guys have a great week as always. Take care.